just start off with AI. I probably don't need to go into too much detail about it. First of all, you all know what it is anyways. And they were talking about it on the last session. But just real quick, so we're all on the same definition. AI is the simulation of human intelligence by machines, especially computer systems. It allows machines to learn from experiences, adjust to new inputs, and perform human-like tasks. The goal is to be able to do things such as recognize patterns, make decisions, and judge like humans. And of course, I had to get this from an AI source from Google Generative AI. We've been talking a lot about AI for years, and that term has been thrown around pretty loosely. And it really has only been through the ChatGPT gaining in popularity that we truly are starting to see what that looks like. And so the big question I get all the time is, will AI replace recruiters? And my answer is some. It depends on what you do. It depends on what you do now, and it depends on what you're going to do moving forward. So let's talk about a tale of two recruiters. And if you see me do some other sessions, you've seen me talk about Harry and Megan as the two recruiters, but I want to do a little bit of a twist to this. So if we look at today, we've got Harry, who is your traditional recruiter. He is polite and professional. He contacts job board applicants. That's his primary source of applications. He does a brief phone screen. He then tries to place as many of those applicants as he can. He's always focused on new applicants. He would prefer to text and email because that's how he communicates. He doesn't really like talking on the phone. Will talk on the phone if he needs to. Doesn't pay a whole lot of attention to employees that are on assignment. He's a recruiter, not somebody who is paying attention to the people that are actually on the assignment. And of course, like I mentioned, his top placement source is job board applicants. That's how most recruiters operate in our industry. Let's take a look at his coworker, Megan. Megan, she's friendly and engaging. She also talks to job board applicants. That's a legitimate source of candidates, right? But she does a longer interview because she likes to get to know people better. And so then she's able to take some of the great candidates that she has that she doesn't have jobs for and skill market those, MPC them, whatever you want to call that. She follows up regularly with assigned employees. She checks in to see how they're doing. She makes sure that there's not any little issues that can turn into big issues. She connects and engages with candidates on LinkedIn. She's actively involved in Facebook groups. She regularly engages the existing database, and her top placement source is referrals. So a couple of different approaches to the same job. Let's see what happens 3 years later. Uh-oh. Harry 1.0 is gone now. He's okay, but he's not there working anymore as a recruiter. Harry 2.0, which is the AI, is now performing thousands of job board and database searches at the same time. It's texting and emailing new candidates within seconds of application. It's conducting phone screens to determine eligibility, skills, and preferences. It sends onboarding paperwork out automatically, and then it keeps checking up on the paperwork to make sure that it's being done. It's attaching qualified candidates to jobs. And it's doing things like processing employee inquiries, such as check stub requests, pay questions, employment verifications. So all the things that Harry was doing and more, Harry 2.0 is able to do it even better. Let's check in on Megan. Megan's still crushing it. She is a rock star. She's actually leveraging AI. In fact, Harry 2.0 is supporting her efforts and allowing her to scale. She's built up pools of candidates that are ready to go. She's proactively recruiting, anticipating the types of positions that she typically places. And so she's got those candidates that are all ready to go. She spends most of her day interacting with her vast network of candidates. And she makes recruiting look effortless and fun, and she's having a great time doing it. It's effortless and fun because it is easy for her, and it is fun. And so you can see that the traditional staffing recruiter that really is processing applicants is going to, for the most part, be replaced by AI. And so if we really boil this down, AI is going to replace the job fillers. AI is going to enable the relationship managers like Megan. So when I look at AI, um, how I view it is not that it's going to replace all of us, that it's not a bad thing. You know, we see a lot of things, and there's always good and bad whenever there's a new technology or something new. But what I really look at it is the next level of technology enablement. And so if we go back, and this is not an exhaustive list, but through history, we've had certain types of technologies that have been absolute game changers and have changed the way that we actually live. And over again, we see that. And it goes back, you know, to the printing press, where previous to that, they were writing everything out. And now once they had the printing press, well, all of a sudden now they could scale, they could reproduce books and newspapers and those types of things. Fast forward to the 1900s, the 60s and 70s, where you had microprocessors, which now enabled us to have things like calculators. And when the calculator came out, everybody said, oh, we're not going to know how to do math. You know, we're always told in grade school and high school that we need to do long math because you're going to use it later on in life. And of course, I have a 12-year-old son right now that's going through that. But the reality of it is that we have technology that allows us to do many of those things. And we're not worse for it. We're actually better off for it. And we're able to leverage that, and it allows us to do more. Fast forward a little bit later, then we've got the personal computers and being able to have access to all the things that computers have, which is the internet and all of those different types of technologies. And we can list a lot of other types of technology enablement events that we've had that has really changed society. I look at AI as one of those events, that it is going to allow us to scale. It's not going to be the end of us. It's not going, you know, you see this data about, well, it's going to replace 40% of jobs. Maybe that's true, but it's going to create another 40% plus. It always does. Every single time it creates more jobs. It's just a matter of us being able to leverage it as a technology. So how do we leverage AI? And in the first session, they were talking about some different ways to do that, but I want to talk a little bit about some different areas. And I'm going to talk about really 6 different ways. The first is sourcing candidates, and there's all sorts of different AI that's out there. There's systems like Aria that are specifically for the staffing industry. There's new ones that are coming up that are still a little bit untested, like Recruit GPT, but there's different ways to be able to automatically source candidates. There's ones that do screening and selection. There's all sorts of ones that do that. Converse AI is one that's a video voice chat that's out there, and that's going to be, and it's a conversational chatbot that's able to have in-depth, very sophisticated conversations. Optimizing communication. There's all sorts of different things. We're talking about ChatGPT, but there's also Bing, there's Bard, there's a whole variety of different ones. There's also Canva, for instance, has a variety of AI tools that can help you actually create presentations as well through AI. These all can also help you with job postings that we're going to talk about here in just a little bit. You can have resumes that are done. Take just a few bullet points or a LinkedIn profile, excuse me, or any kind of a bio or whatever, copy and paste it into ChatGPT or Bing or Bard and say, create a resume from this. And it's amazing what it'll do. Think about all the time as a recruiting professional that you've spent creating somebody's resume, redoing their resume, helping them with their resume. Well, now we can either direct them back to it and just say, go and do this and send me the resume, or within a few seconds, we can actually have a resume created for them that we can give back to them and say, do you approve this? You don't want to just create a resume for somebody and get it out there. And then note-taking. One of the technologies that I've been using that's been a total game changer for me is Fireflies. And there are a variety of different note-taking AI tools out there, but I've settled on Fireflies. I've been using it for a while now, and I invite it to all of my different video calls. It works on everything from Teams to Zoom to Google Meet, all sorts of different platforms. And what it does is not only transcribes the meeting, but then it actually will turn it into notes as if it is my executive assistant that is taking the notes and putting it into a form that I can use. I can then ask it questions from that meeting. And so I have lots of meetings throughout the week. Before I have another meeting with that same client, for instance, I can go back, look at my previous meeting, ask it some questions about the meeting. What were my to-dos? What were we going to talk about on this meeting? And it will actually provide that information back. So some really cool technologies that are out there. And these are just a few examples of the technology that we have. So let's talk about sample AI prompts. I know they were talking about that on the previous session. The great thing about AI and leveraging some different things like ChatGPT is that it can make our job not only easier, but it can actually make it better. We can actually improve what we're doing. We can do things much more quickly, but we can also, it enables us to just do our job better. And so some of the prompts that we can do from a recruiting standpoint is we can come up with a list of behavioral interview questions. So we can do a prompt of what are some behavioral interview questions for a warehouse worker? Or we could do what are some behavioral questions for a locum tenens, or we could do anything with this same kind of prompt. And what that does is it enables us to ask better questions. Create a list of 10 technical interview questions for a med-surg nurse candidate. I don't even know what a med-surg nurse candidate does. So this would be a great way to do that. I do know what a med-surg nurse does, but if I didn't, I can quickly put this in there and I can have technical interview questions. We can do that for IT. It can be about some sort of very specific software developer position or whatever in IT that's very specialized, or healthcare that's very specialized. What does a cybersecurity analyst do? We can ask ourselves, or we can ask AI questions about that. And then give me an overview of Nationwide Insurance. What would be the top 3 selling points for someone to work there? So if I have a job posting that I'm working on, and it's just a job order and it's just your basic job description, usually, then I can go through, and if I don't have information on what are the selling points of the company, what does the company do? What are they known for? How is it that I can position this to that candidate? I can go through and ask all sorts of different questions so that I can appropriately qualify the candidate, but also be able to match them up to the right job. It also allows us to rewrite job postings. And so this is a good example of those. And one of the things that I talk about quite a bit is when we are posting jobs out there, what we tend to do is we tend to just take the job description and copy and paste it. And there are 2 different ways that you can approach job postings. You can approach them as employer-centric, or you can approach them as candidate-centric. Employer-centric is what we have here. So we've got XYZ Energy is one of the fastest growing residential solar providers in the nation. We're looking for intelligent and energetic people to join our sales team and help us grow. Here's the problem with this. First of all, it sounds like every other job posting that's out there. But the issue is that it's all about them. It's all about XYZ Energy. Well, we're one of the fastest growing residential solar providers in the nation. Well, good for you, but how does that appeal to the candidate? We are looking for intelligent and energetic people to join our sales team. It's all about us. It's not about the candidate. So your active candidate is going to apply to this because they apply to everything. But your more passive candidate, your semi-active candidate that's out there window shopping, is going to pass right past this one and all sorts of the ones that are the same. So we've got the duties and responsibilities. We're looking for people who are teachable and motivated to learn sales. Again, all about them. You'll be the first point of contact. Duties and responsibilities. You're going to talk directly to homeowners. So we've got all of the details of this position is basically a job description, required skills and abilities. So what we did was we said, well, let's rewrite this. Rewrite the job posting to be more appealing to a candidate. So you can put this into ChatGPT, put it into Bard. Different AI tools work a little bit differently. They even, what I've found is using some of the different AI tools, I don't want to say they have their own personality, but they certainly, after a period of time, you do start to see that they have their own way of doing things. There is maybe it's the personality of the people that program them that's shining through, but you do get different ones. So try out different types of tools. So we have rewrite the job posting to be more appealing to a candidate. Looking for an exciting career opportunity in the growing solar industry? XYZ Energy is the place for you. We're one of the fastest growing residential solar providers in the nation, and we are currently seeking intelligent and energetic individuals to join our sales team. So you can see that this is much more appealing to the candidate. It's candidate-centric. As an energy advisor, you'll be part of an amazing team of professionals and learn from some of the best sales leaders in the industry. We offer a flexible schedule, car payment bonus. You can see all those. No sales experience, no problem. So what we've done is just very, very quickly gone in to ChatGPT or Bard, one of those systems. We've asked it to rewrite this job posting, and now we have a great job posting. And we can go through and do all of those job postings. What would have taken us hours, even tens of hours, we can do very, very quickly. So those are some of the things to do. So I got through, I guess, a lot quicker than I thought I was going to, but I'll open it up for some questions. But one of the things that we need to realize is that AI is only going to take on the jobs that are posting, the jobs that are processing, the jobs that are administrative. AI can be a great tool for us if we are more of that Megan than we are Harry. So if we're focused more on relationship building, if we're focused more on keeping in touch with our active employees and keeping them on assignment for longer, then that's going to allow us to enable and scale what we're doing. And then lastly, we can leverage that AI if we continue to look at all the different ways. And I can tell you that just doing AI research over the past few months, I've uncovered dozens, if not hundreds of different AI tools. I have them up on my browser. And so there's all sorts of different ways that we can leverage AI. So you want to make sure that you stay on top of that. So with that, I will open it up for any questions that anybody has. Yes, and turn it back over to David.
All right, let me jump on here, Tom. Thank you so much. So there was a question from earlier that came up that I think would be really relevant for you here, which doesn't ChatGPT only have access to data up till September 2021? What should you do if you're trying to get more relevant data?
Yes, that is true. And I think that that was done as a kind of a fail-safe, so it didn't try and take over the world. So, but yes, that is true. ChatGPT does. There are some different systems that are newer. Google actually is a great tool, the generative AI, and it's still in beta, but you can actually, when you do, you can turn it on. You have to actually go and turn it on in the settings, and it will have newer, up-to-date data. So you can absolutely use that.
Yeah, I believe that's the Google Duet that's just coming out that you can start using it as a Copilot. And Microsoft this fall is supposed to sometime come out with their Copilot product.
Right.
You mentioned,
and they have Bing AI as well. So
yeah, you mentioned note taking in Fireflies. We use Read.ai and we're on Zoom. Zoom actually took Zoom IQ, which was pricey, and they said it's free. That was my favorite price reduction ever. So right. That. But one of the use cases that we're really liking, and I'd love to get your feedback on this, is after a sales call to take the synopsis of the meeting and send it back to the person we talked to, just saying, hey, this is what we talked about. I want to make sure I got everything. Yeah. And these are each of our to-dos, because at the end of the synopsis, it lists those to-dos. We're finding it helpful, but what's your thought about doing that in staffing?
Well, yeah, I do it with my clients pretty regularly. If we have a meeting, of course, we always ask for permission. Say, hey, this is Fireflies on here. If you're wondering who this other person is, it's not a person, and tell them all about it. I've had many of my clients end up signing up for Fireflies just because they've liked it so much. But yeah, it has a landing page. It has all of that that you can send off to them. I think it's good so that you're on the same page, right? And so especially if you've talked about some important stuff, that it's good for both of you to have a record of. I think that's a good way to do it. There's also Fireflies and other tools have integrations with different systems. Like, for example, Fireflies has an integration with HubSpot CRM. So we're able to actually have it automatically go and record the meeting notes in the CRM, the record for the contact, for any of the contacts that are in there.
Yeah, it's exactly what I was thinking. It's I know our sales team loves that. There's no more manual typing call notes into the CRM. Now it's just cut and paste, and even better if it's not even cut and paste, if it's directly in by an integration.
Well, and it allows you to focus on the meeting instead of focusing on taking notes. And I don't know about you, but I'm a horrible note taker anyways. So it distracts me. Some people, it's active listening, right? They actually do better when they're taking notes. For me, it's a distraction, and I'm not going to take as good a notes as it has anyways.
Here's my yellow pad from while you were talking, but it does help me take better and actually listen better.
Yeah,
but I didn't. But as soon as I start writing, then I'm not listening and I'm not capturing anything. So your point, it's hard to continue being an active listener when you're being an active note taker.
Right. Yeah. The other thing from a recruiting standpoint is you can use it for interviews and interview notes, and you just ask for permission if you can record it. And it's also a great way for them to be engaged and to have those really detailed notes in the ATS.
Yeah, that's fantastic. There's a couple of really good questions that have come in. First one, Josie has asked, there's no question that AI will replace administrative tasks, but what are the costs? So I'm not sure if that cost is reflective of the actual cost of the AI technology or the costs of potential job loss from people not doing the administrative tasks. What are your thoughts on both sides of that question?
Yeah. I could even think of a third way to interpret that question. It's one of the things that we've started to look at with some of my clients, where we've said, okay, sometimes there is some sticker shock with some of the AI, some others is really affordable. You have to look at, okay, is this going to allow us to scale others? Is the first thing to take a look at. Are we able to utilize this AI to help people be more productive? So that's the first thing. The second thing is it going to allow us to do things that nobody has time or the resources or the desire to do? Like if you have a database of 150,000 people and AI is able to consistently reach out to them and engage them, then that's something that no matter how many employees you have, you're not going to be able to do that. So you kind of have to look at what is the ROI on that, the potential ROI, as well as what are some of the potential cost savings too. So maybe I don't need to go and hire another person. I'm able to use this to leverage and help scale the existing people that I have. There's a real cost savings on that piece. The cost to losing people, to me, it's not about replacing people. It's about scaling the people you have. Every discussion that we have had about AI with my clients has been, not one of it has been about, hey, if we bring in this AI, we can get rid of 2 recruiters. It's, hey, if I could do this, we can help scale the team so I don't have to hire 2 more recruiters, which also benefits the recruiters that are there, because instead of them doing 5,000 a week in GP, maybe they're able to do 10,000 with the support of AI. And then the third cost that I was thinking is, what's the cost? A lot of people ask about what's the cost of human interaction. If we've got
It looks like Tom, you froze up for a sec. You froze up for a second there. Just come back to the answer on human interaction.
Oh, I was just going to say that the human interaction is the
Oh, timing is everything.
Oh, sorry. Did you lose me again?
I did. I'm not sure if it's on my end or yours, but I just the exact same spot. I guess our AI just does not want that answered because it does not want to be replaced by human interaction. The AI wants to control all.
Yes, yes, right. Yes, it's interrupting our human interaction right now. So I'll try one last. Well, we'll go to the next question.
So I like this question. A lot of times these AI tools are more hype than reality. If you had to pick one that you've seen make the biggest impact, what's your choice?
Well, ChatGPT is the biggest one right now. It's just there's so much that you can do with it, but I think that you looking at tools like Converse AI and some others where it's really conversational AI through a voice chatbot. There's just amazing things that can be done. You were also talking in the first session about just some of the stuff that you can create, where you can create entire videos and have voiceovers and all of those. There's some amazing stuff that's going on with that. So I think I have been saying for years that anytime somebody was talking about AI, I was going, I think it's really just sophisticated workflows, right? Well, now we're really at this transformational period where it truly is, maybe not true AI, depending on how you define it, but it's different than it was previously. ChatGPT really kind of changed the game.
Awesome. Well, Tom, I want to thank you very much. There's still a whole bunch of questions, and just for everybody who's asking, we'll do our best to continue putting some comments into the notes along the way. Tom, you're welcome to also look at the Q&A after you turn the camera off and answer anything that's there. But thank you very much for being part of the Smart Ideas Summit 3. Really appreciate all your insights.
All right. Thanks for having me.